Welcome into the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. We will have a lot of things to go over today, including a busy night for the Clemson football program last night. If you follow my blog page at foxsportsradio1400.com, you've already had this information. But a couple of big things, and we also got some news from Coach Sweeney's press conference today. But we found out last night that Lynn J. Dixon, the man that was supposed to be the next guy after Travis Etienne, has decided to leave the program. And in addition to that, Clemson's one of their better defensive tackles, Tyler Davis, who is a young man that has really been good on the defensive front, has tore his pec muscle, and he is out of he'll be out for like 6 to 8 weeks. So not a good night there for the Clemson program. And I'm going to play some comments here from Coach Dabo Sweeney in a moment, and some comments from Coach Shane Beamer as Gamecocks get ready for Kentucky this weekend, which if they want to go to a bowl game, this is a must-win game for them. But you got to look at this stuff from Clemson. And Teddy Hefner gave me these stats this morning. The Tigers are last in the ACC in runs of 10-plus yards with just 10. Plus, they have 2 of just 20-plus yards. And they've only put up 17 points of offense against FBS teams. That is terrible. Now, Sweeney at his press conference today said, hey, we don't stink. We're going to be fine. And that's what you should be saying if you're the head coach. But this team has too much talent on it to have just 17 points against FBS teams. So let's go one more second here with Dixon. The Dixon stuff, it was kind of a back and forth exchange there with Coach Sweeney saying things like he needs to grow up. Really? When you stop and look at it, we've never heard anything bad about Lynn J. Dixon until now. So it's just weird. It's like there's just weirdness coming out of Clemson right now. And, you know, the interesting thing is I talked with Levon Kirkland, who's in the Ring of Honor, and he said this morning that he doesn't think they're a playoff team, and he's right. This Clemson team's looking like a 9-win team. They could go up to NC State this weekend, and I don't really care what Las Vegas says. The reality is that they could go up and lose that game. This is an NC State Super Bowl. Much like Clemson was Georgia's Super Bowl, because that's all the Georgia fans want to talk about. It's not like they're winning a national title. Their season will be they beat Clemson. But there just seems to be something silly up there with the Clemson football program. 803-978-1832. Out to the phones we go. Good afternoon. Welcome into the Rundown.
Mr. Sanders, how are you?
What's that? Go ahead.
Hello. You can hear me?
Yeah, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Because my headphones are acting silly here. All right, what were you saying, caller? Go ahead.
All right, I'm on the air is what I need to know, first of all.
Well, yeah, okay. You called into the radio show. You're on the air. What's up?
Well, oh, no. You see, now, Megan, I know exactly what he's talking about, man. You're acting like an immature little child right now, my friend.
Oh, I'm acting like an immature child. Okay, acting like an immature child would be hanging up the phone. I asked you what you had for the program, sir. Do you have something you'd like to talk about?
No, you asked me. I asked you if I was on the air, and you couldn't. You act like that was a stupid question. I'm not supposed to know because you couldn't hear me. I said hello 3 times.
Well, that's because my headset wasn't working, sir. I apologize for the technical error.
That's not my problem, is it, sir?
Okay. Do you have something that you'd like to talk about that's show related, sir?
I would, yes, I would appreciate that if I have a minute or two. Yeah.
All right, have at it.
Okay. You just mentioned you talked with someone on the staff of Clemson, and
No. Hold on, sir. I said I talked with Levon Kirkland, who's in the Ring of Honor.
Okay.
That's who I talked with.
Good enough. That right there, that's all I need to know. I told you the same thing yesterday. They're not a playoff team. I told you also they're going to lose a regular season game. That would be probably North Carolina State. Probably going to beat the tar out. Might beat them by 14. Number 3, this issue with Mr. Dixon and CJ Spiller. If Mr. Dixon cannot abide by and respect his coach, thank you for leaving, sir. Thank you for leaving. Because you have on that team, he was causing all kind of confusion. You got people on Mr. Dixon's side, and you got people on CJ Spiller's side. Get him, he's gone, so that solves that problem. Am I right or wrong?
He is no longer with the program. You're right.
Okay. Well, that's about all I got for you today, Mr. Sanders.
You have a great day, sir. Thank you.
You have a better day.
All right. Back out to the phones, 803-978-1832. Here we go. Welcome into the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, that guy was a mad idiot, wasn't he?
I think he's mad at me. I haven't done anything to him. My headset wasn't, I plugged it in and it wasn't working and I couldn't hear what he said. I don't know what his problem is.
I haven't heard about Lynn J. Dixon being a problem for the team.
I haven't heard that either.
Never heard that for his 4 years there.
Yeah, Coach Sweeney said he needs to grow up and be a better teammate. And he tweeted out, I don't understand what you're talking about. I've always been a good teammate.
Yeah.
So
maybe Coach Spiller's not up to being Coach Spiller. Maybe he's just better being CJ Spiller.
Maybe he's better being a brand ambassador than being
a coach.
Yeah, maybe that's the way that it should be.
Maybe that's but I don't agree with Dabo saying that he quit the team.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to say somebody quit the team, say Chaz Mazzelli quit the team. He quit the team.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that gets me though is that just the way this was handled, it just doesn't look good.
It didn't need to be handled like this. If CJ Spiller didn't like him and wasn't going to play him, he should have told him that before the season started.
Yeah, and you know what though, in the transfer portal era, you're going to have guys that are going to come in, and if they don't get the touches they want, they're going to go somewhere else. Lynn J. Dixon is a Division I Power 5 running back. There are several schools that will be lined up to get his services. So just because he's not going to get touches at Clemson, whether it's issues with maybe Will Shipley's better than he is, and he may end up being, or maybe he can't get along with CJ Spiller, whatever it is, that's fine. Someone else will pick him up.
It was definitely the problem with Spiller. I hadn't heard anybody on the team comment about he's not a good teammate for, when he sat behind Travis Etienne knowing he's not going to play.
Yeah.
Nobody said he wasn't a good teammate doing that.
And that's the thing too. In reality, no one knew that Travis Etienne was going to return his senior season.
Yeah.
And then he sat behind him. He could have transferred then.
Yeah.
And said, hey, I'm heading out. So there's that too.
Yeah. I think maybe CJ doesn't have the makeup to be a coach. Maybe Dabo needs to chalk it up to missed opportunity and move forward.
We'll see how that works out. But losing Dixon and then losing Davis in a period of 24 hours.
Yeah, Tyler Davis. Yeah,
that's a mark for that Clemson program. I don't care.
They're deep on that defensive line, though.
Yeah, and I get that, but still, you lose one of the veterans of your running back room, one of the veterans of the team.
Well, according to Dabo, he was not a good team player. I mean, for whatever that's worth. But maybe Phil Mufog he moves up and gets a chance because, Darian Rancher is a good guy. He's not a Division I running back.
Yeah, well, that's true, but now you're pushing the
Mikey
timetable
Dukes
up
isn't either.
on Mufafa there, and they were wanting to redshirt him. Now they can't.
Yeah, but I mean, there's lots of schools that play. I mean, Ohio State, look at their true freshman. He's running all over the place. I mean, Dabo has this thing about wanting guys to sit behind and learn, but sometimes, Sammy Watkins didn't sit behind anybody.
Sammy Watkins was a hell of a player too. There's a little bit of a difference there. I don't think Lynn J. Dixon is in the Sammy Watkins.
No, I'm not saying Lynn J. Dixon or Phil Mufa's in that spot, but I don't think Sammy Watkins came to Clemson knowing every route to run. They just said, get out on the field and let's get the ball in his hand.
Very true.
Will Taylor needs to say, you know what, he's not going to be quarterback. Get him on the field, get the ball in his hand. He's electric when he's got the ball in his hand.
That's a good point, man. You got to get the best playmakers out there. Just the way this was handled just didn't look good.
No, it didn't look good for Dabo and didn't look good for Clemson. But I still think Clemson is going to get to the ACC championship game.
It's at a point now where it's almost like a wait and see every week because that offense is terrible right now.
North Carolina State still has Dave
Doran,
the idiot. Yeah, Dave Doran. Florida State's a mess. Boston College lost its starting quarterback. They're going to get there.
They're getting there because the rest of the conference pretty much sucks right now, and that's not really saying much. So
sometimes you're going to have a season like this where you're going to have to eat it.
They're eating up there in Tiger Town right about now.
But I was watching ESPN and they were talking about the Big 12 is over. I'm thinking, isn't Oregon third or fourth? I don't know how the Big 12 is over.
Yeah, something like that.
So, Doomsday is, it's the third game of the year. So
we'll see.
Everybody relax.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it.
Man.
Thanks for calling. All right, I've got some comments from Coach Dabo Sweeney. We're going to play those really quick, and then I want to get into comments from Coach Shane Beamer as the Gamecocks get ready to play Kentucky this weekend in a matchup that, and I said it at the beginning of the show, will determine whether or not they're going to go to a bowl game. I think if South Carolina loses to Kentucky, they probably won't go to a bowl game. Anyway, here are some comments from Coach Dabo Sweeney as they preview NC State.
Got a huge challenge this week going on the road. It's a very good NC State team, very good team, complete. This is got to be one of the most experienced teams in the country for sure. A ton of guys that have played a lot of ball on both sides of the ball. 9 of 11 back on offense, had 10 of 11 back on defense. Now 8 of 11. With a couple of guys getting hurt, guys that have, again, a few guys that have transferred in that were starters as well. So lots of experience with this team. They're incredibly well coached. They play hard, play tough, play smart, and they're 2-1. Mississippi State was a tough game for them. They opening kickoff return for a touchdown, and then NC State had 3 turnovers. So otherwise, that's a tight game. They gave up 17 points, not counting the kick return. So this is a really, really good team. Offensively, the quarterback is a baller. He is a very good player. He's an excellent thrower. He's athletic. He moves around. He can run well. And, again, just really understands their scheme. They're incredibly committed to what they do, with their stretch play and the misdirection, the screens, running back passing game, formations, boots and throwbacks and shots down the field to those big, tall receivers. 4 starters back in the offensive line. They're very good up front, very physical, and a very physical run game. That's where it all starts for them. I think the OL's got like 100 starts between them, so it's a very smart, cohesive group. And the receivers are very good players. 88 is outstanding. 5 is a great slot for them. 86 is an excellent player as well. So just a really good group. 2 great running backs that again, they all understand their scheme and going to be a big challenge for us defensively. Their defense, they look like us on tape. Different schematics than us, but they look like us in how they run to the football, how physical they are. They're very well coached. They're fundamentally sound. They do a super job. And again, guys that have played a lot of football on all three levels. They're stingy. They've not allowed a rushing touchdown in 3 games against anyone. So, very, very confident group. And then special teams, this is one of the best special teams group that we'll see all year. They got the school record holder in field goals and the school record holder in punting. So a really good group, excellent returner, and, a very good team, very good team. So, but for us, I'm excited. I'm excited to see us play a true road game and, see how we accept the challenge. It's a tough place to play, and we're going to have a great week of preparation, and we got to play well. It's that simple. We got to play well in all 3 phases, and if we do that, then, we'll have a chance to win the game. If we don't, it's going to be a long day. So it's going to start with a great week of practice, and again, looking forward to it. Tyler Davis had surgery this morning, so keep him in your thoughts and prayers. It's a big loss for us. Man, he was playing great football. What an incredible effort from him in this past game, and just super proud of him, and look forward to getting him back. Know he'll come back better than ever. So next guy up, Rook's he's been there. He played well for us to this point, and so we're very fortunate that we got some other guys there that have gotten some experience in these first 3 games and have played well. So excited about his opportunity.
All right, so there's some coach comments from Coach Dabo Sweeney. A lot of coach speak there, but in the end, if you put these teams on paper, NC State hasn't played. They played 1 FBS team, and they lost. NC State, theoretically, was supposed to be a pretty decent team this season. Haven't really shown it yet, although Clemson hasn't shown they're a good team either. So we'll have to see how that works out. If you want to call up and talk about what I think is kind of the wheels falling off for Clemson a little bit here, losing these 2 players, kind of a big deal. 17 points against FBS teams. That's not very good. Not very good at all. If you want to call up and talk about that, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Andrew asked, could I see Ukulele getting benched? No, I really can't, unless he gets injured. I don't think that's going to happen. So it's just interesting the way things are rolling up there at Clemson. All right, quick break. When we come back, we'll have some comments from Coach Shane Beamer as he talks about Kentucky and the Gamecocks matchup with them. Gamecocks opened up as like a 6-point dog to the Wildcats. We'll talk about that when we come back. This is the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Appreciate y'all stopping in today. You guys are awesome over there. Thank you. Welcome back to the Rundown. Out to the phones we go. Good afternoon. Welcome into the Rundown.
Rob, I know this is a South Carolina show, but I mean, when both of your teams are sort of garbage, you're going to get other fans calling in. That's just kind of the way it goes.
No, we're a show. We're a show of the people, sir. We're not just Palmetto State based. We're a show of the people. But go ahead.
I got you. Hey, you had a Florida fan call in yesterday who sounded like Foghorn Leghorn. The guy.
No, he claims he knows you. I swear to you, he claims he knows you.
No, he doesn't know me at all. Hopefully, he's got his helmet on and his diapers on. Apparently, he's a window licker, but obviously knows nothing about football. I'm so tired of this Georgia ain't won nothing crap. This is a team who, in the last 12 years, has more 4-win seasons than they do conference championships. No playoff appearances, no playoff wins, which Kirby has all of that. And yet they want to go at Georgia. This man knows nothing about football. And if I hear Anthony Richardson's name one more time, he graduated from the same high school that I did. I graduated there about 20 years before him. But it is almost a literal third world country. That high school graduates illiterate kids. And Anthony Richardson apparently is one of them. He's well
Also,
known
were you one of them too?
Yeah, I knew you were heading in that direction. But no, let's just say the snap count when he goes in is always on 1, if you know what I mean.
Got it.
Yeah, he struggles to get to 2. This narrative, I feel for you that you even have Florida fans call in, but this guy who called in yesterday has got the IQ of a grilled cheese sandwich. I hope he lose your number because the nonsense he was spewing was just ridiculous. Have a good day, Rob.
Thank you, sir. We'll head back out to the phones. Good afternoon. Welcome into the Rundown.
Good. How are you, sir?
Good, man. What's going on?
Megan said it's like a third world country down there. Maybe that explains why it took him 6 years to graduate high school.
I've not seen Megan's transcripts, but he has said things that make me ponder whether he can string together more than 8 words at a time.
I hear you, bro. Hey, well, one good thing you can take as a Clemson fan, I guess. Me personally, I like close competitive games, and looks like we're going to get a lot of them this year.
Yeah, I think that's the way that it's going to be. But and Coach Sweeney said this in his conference today that the idea of teams just blowing teams out, that's going to be by the wayside a little bit here, especially with the transfer portal and things like that. So yeah, that's going to be an issue there with a lot of teams. So let's get one more call before we go to a break. Oh, well, I guess they don't want to talk. All right. Well, anyway, I've got some comments from Coach Shane Beamer. Let's play those as his team gets set up to play the University of Kentucky.
Have a big challenge this week. Obviously, have a lot of respect for Coach Stoops and what he's done at Kentucky and the way that he's elevated that program. I grew up in Murray, Kentucky, when my dad was the head coach at Murray State, and from the age of 2 until the age of 10, I lived in Kentucky, so know all about UK football and UK athletics from growing up in that part of the country or in that state, and it's impressive the way that Coach Stoops has come in and taken that program to a higher level. The consistency that they win football games with and execute year in, year out is impressive. I have a ton of respect. Obviously, I worked with his brother Mike at Oklahoma, got to know his other brother Bob, obviously very, very well, coaching at Oklahoma, and a fellow coach's son like myself, and think the world of their family and think a lot of their program at Kentucky as well. It was that way when I was at Virginia Tech, and he was the defensive coordinator at Florida State back in 2012, I believe. Super physical and super well coached was the Florida State defense, and the Kentucky teams he has are no different. I played against them when I was at Georgia in 2016 and 17, and they were always battles, and they've only gotten better. and continued to become an even more physical team since then. Offensively, explosive. The new offensive coordinator that has come in from the NFL has done a great job. The quarterback they have that's playing for them is playing at a really high level. A really impressive player that he is. He's got size. He can run. He throws one of the more impressive deep balls that I've ever seen. I mean, I think they're like second in the country, if I'm not mistaken, in like explosive pass plays or something. So they are a big play offense. Number one, the receiver that transferred back to the state from Nebraska, he is lights out, and we have to have a great plan for him because he can take the top off of defense in a hurry, and there's no throw on the field that this quarterback can't make. So we've been pretty good, a lot better, knock on wood, with not giving up explosive pass plays. We got to really be good this week because we've got a huge challenge. The tackle, number 70, Kennard, is a first-round draft pick. A huge man, 6'5", 338 pounds, but he is light on his feet and athletic, and I don't think he's given up a pass pressure all year, so that's a big challenge for our edge guys. And then the running back is a really good talent, tough, physical, runs hard as well. And then defensively experienced and physical. You look at their front guys, they all have size. I mean, the two edge guys for them, 6'5", 225 pounds, 6'5", 231 pounds. The end, number 4, he is super disruptive, one of the better players in our league, 6'3", 275 pounds, but plays fast and with twitch. We faced a big defensive tackle last week in 99, Davis from Georgia, and we got another one this week in number 50, McCall, 6'3", 344 pounds, and he's just on tape. I mean, he's just dominating people at the line of scrimmage. And then they've really been helped by the transfer linebacker from Ole Miss, number 10, Jones. He's all over the field, makes plays everywhere. And then an experienced secondary. I think counting their nickel, they've got 4 seniors that start in the secondary for them. So they are really playing well. They're really well coached. They're really physical and a good football team. So it'll be a big challenge for us on Saturday night. And, it's their first away game for them for sure. And we need to make that a great environment on Saturday night. So Gamecock Nation, listen to me. We need you there early. We need Gamecock Walk to be even bigger and louder than what it was last time. We need the cockpit to be louder and more disruptive than it's ever been. We need an environment Saturday night that will be a true home field advantage for us and a true 12th man out there, loud and boisterous. If you're wearing a mask, great. You ought to be yelling so loud that the sound from your voice tears a hole in the mask. I don't even know if that's humanly possible, but let's sure as heck try. You can be an advantage for us. We're all in this thing together, and we will need you on Saturday night. Get there early. We've got a fantastic group of recruits that are coming, and we need you to go get this done.
On that front, I think that Shane Beamer, he's been to enough games. Williams-Brice is going to be packed on Saturday regardless. So, I mean, he's trying to rile up the crowd a little bit there, but yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. Kentucky's an interesting matchup for South Carolina, though, in that they think they have a quarterback. I'm not sure if they do or not. They are 3-0. And here's the interesting thing. If you look at the Kentucky schedule, the way that it shakes out, in theory, their schedule this is like the year where the schedule looks really in their favor. They play South Carolina, and then they come home for a visit from Florida. Also, they play LSU at home. Then they go on the road to Georgia. Follow that up with a trip to Mississippi State, home game with Tennessee, away game at Vandy, New Mexico State, and Louisville. The way the schedule sets up, I'm not saying they can beat Florida, but if they can win that matchup, I don't really know what you're going to get with LSU. I know the folks down in the Bayou, they may be getting a little frustrated. I don't think they had 100 yards rushing against the FCS team they played the other night. It's not really the physical LSU team that we're used to. I'm Not saying they can win 11 games, but they could. The way the schedule is set up with their toughest games without the Georgia game being at home, maybe the dominoes could fall right for Kentucky, but I'm not too completely sold on their quarterback yet. And they had to struggle to beat Mizzou, which is a very young football team. So they were a 6-point favorite. Now they're like a 3-point favorite on Saturday night down at Williams-Brice. We'll take your calls at 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. South Carolina can win this game against Kentucky. It's not really that far-fetched. Wow. I kind of like the Missouri-Boston College game. Might be all right. I think that if they can control the ball, I think they have a chance. I really do. It's going to be a close game. I mean, Kentucky's not really anything to write home about. Is anybody really scared of Kentucky? Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeart Radio app. We're taking calls at 803-978-1832. I was discussing with the folks in the chat room during the break that I think South Carolina has a chance to win this weekend. Sweeney online says Juju McDowell will rush for 125 yards. That'd be good because he's been on a milk carton since the ECU game. So maybe he can get out there and actually do something. In theory, I think that Kevin Harris is a guy that's going to get 20 to 25 carries this game and has an opportunity to control the game a little bit from that front. But we're getting at a point in the season now where, and maybe it's just me, but you should have a rotation set at running back. Yeah, you're going to have, your first string guy and let that guy get the 15 to 20 carries, sort of like what Shane Beamer did this weekend at Georgia, where Kevin Harris finished with 15 carries. You should have somebody that's going to get the lion's share of your touches there, and then build on that from there. Clemson's going to end up doing it by default because one of their running backs decided to transfer. Not a good look for Dabo Sweeney and the way that came out. Telling the guy he needs to grow up. Never heard anything bad about him anywhere else. All of a sudden, new running back coach, and there's a problem. You know, you're not really saying anything other than the young man needs to grow up. Well, if that's the case, then I can just make assumptions on whatever I want to then, right? He wasn't a problem before. He was patient enough to wait behind Travis Etienne, who decided to return for his senior year. No one thought that was happening. But then all of a sudden he's not with it. I don't get it. So not a good look there for Dabo Sweeney up at Clemson. Some other things before we roll along here. Danny Cannell upset about Florida State going up to Wake Forest and getting popped. Saying, quote, I thought last year was going to be Mike Norvell's biggest coaching challenge of his career. I think it's going to be this year. I think his biggest challenge is going to be two things. One is going to be keeping this team invested to get every effort every single week. Then it's also going to be maintaining his recruiting class and keeping them from bailing on a program that looks like it's coming apart at the seams. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I wonder if teams are going to start picking at some of those guys that are on that Florida State recruiting class, which is projected to be really good. Really good. Someone says they should hire Deion Sanders. We'll see. Brock says Clemson's offense is on a milk carton. Well, they'd have to show up at least once, and they haven't. Clemson offense is really, really bad right now. So, it's a mess. But one of the more disappointing programs right now is Florida State, because they've got talent on the field down there. They're just not weaving it together. And here's the thing. They're still paying, or they theoretically was still paying Willie Taggart, even though they got a settlement for that. Are they going to want to pay another coach to not coach there? And Mike Norvell was pretty good before he got there. It's not like Mike Norvell forgot how to coach. It's not like he has Will Muschamp syndrome and has been a two-time failure and should have never been hired here anyway. Okay? Mike Norvell has been pretty good. So you go up and you lose by 21 points to Wake Forest, and let's just be honest, Dave Clawson's a heck of a coach. They probably should have hired him. But things do not look good down there for Florida State. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Jonathan Reynolds joins us on Friday. We're going to talk a little bit about the matchup with North Carolina State, and Ethan DeWitt from A Sea of Blue, the SB Sports site, will join us to preview the Kentucky Wildcats. That is tomorrow here on the Rundown. So stick around for that. And we'll ask him some stuff about that, about Chris Rodriguez. And is he going to be able to play, the talented UK running back? Will he be there to do damage to the South Carolina defense this weekend? We shall see. 803-978-1832. I've got some thoughts on all of the SEC games this week. I'm writing my ACC stuff. We'll have that up for you too. A couple of other notes here before we get out of here today. Lynn J. Dixon, they already have his transfer rankings up, or his transfer ratings up. They give him a grade of 83, making him a 3-star transfer portal prospect, according to 247 Sports, saying he has proven production at the college level, but is yet to show he can carry the load and be a featured back. He could be coveted transfer portal player with his experience on a big stage at Clemson. This season, 10 carries for 48 yards. Last season, 42 carries for 190 yards and 2 touchdowns. Let's go out to the phones. And welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Yeah, it takes an idiot to call another person an idiot.
All right, I've given you your time, sir. I can't have you on the air twice, man. I told you that. Have a great day. You can't call the show twice in a day. I don't understand. I explained that to him, and he still continues to call. You can't call the show and do the whole double dipping thing. That's not the way that it works. Not the way that it works. 803-978-1832. Jerome says FSU is interested in Muschamp because he can win 2 games. You know, at this juncture, I think they'd take just about anybody down at Florida State. It is not looking good. Not looking good. Blake says the latest Norvell press conference is starting to sound like he's auditioning for his job. I mean, he's got a job at a Power 5 school. Remember when Florida State was a good job? You know, they had great players on the field. Not so much anymore. I mean, but they had great players. I mean, they won a national title in 2014. That's not that long ago. Not that long ago. Anyway, some thoughts on each SEC game when we come back here on the rundown. Remember, as I said, Jonathan Reynolds joins us tomorrow, and Ethan DeWitt from A Sea of Blue joins Jonathan Reynolds on Friday. Ethan DeWitt's tomorrow to preview the Kentucky game. More of the rundown when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. That guy's killing me, man. I told him you can't call. What's up, Andy? How you doing? People listening in Germany. I told you, Megan, we're a show of the people. To Neil, I hate to break this to you, but he was given the keys to Florida and to South Carolina. He had two chances there and failed. I mean, it's not that far-fetched.
Hey guys, Walton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason a couple of years ago, and he said, "Dad, you're the best father ever." When I asked him why, he said, "Because when I go outside to play, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore." Imagine that, me a hero, when all I did was call my good buddy Trey Powell to Mosquito Joe. With their routine service plan, no more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. That's 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again.
Is the line really 50? I haven't looked at the Vanderbilt Georgia line. Is it 50? Holy crap. You're getting 50. You're a 50-point home underdog? Holy crap. Yeah, that game is in the swamp. Welcome back into the rundown. Looking ahead to this weekend, some early thoughts about some of the SEC games, ACC games coming tomorrow. Georgia and Vanderbilt, that Georgia defensive line is going to just slap around that Vanderbilt offensive line. It's not going to be pretty. I think it's one of the biggest lopsided conference matchups of the year as far as that unit. The Georgia defensive line against the Vanderbilt offensive line. It's like an NBA team playing against a middle school team. To bring a basketball reference into the mix. LSU versus Mississippi State, man, you got two coaches here that need a win bad. I think more is expected of Ed Orgeron at LSU because they've got some talent there, but there are things going on, I think, behind the scenes. How do you keep your 5-star player off the field because of academic issues? You don't really hear that anywhere. Just saying. That's kind of out there. So Mississippi State allowed 2 non-offensive touchdowns, one on a horrible missed call on a bizarre punt return is what one of my notes here says. So, yeah. Mizzou versus Boston College. The interesting thing about this one is that Connor Bazelak will be able to play, but we're not going to get the Connor Bazelak-Phil Dracovic matchup that we thought we were going to get. Dennis Grossel will be under center. He went 5 for 13 against Temple with a touchdown and an interception against Temple. And he's a veteran there for Boston College for a bit. So that'll be one of the more interesting matchups of the day there. Texas A&M and Arkansas. Man, there are a lot of people in love with Arkansas right now after they beat up on Texas. And when you look at this, Jimbo Fisher losing this game would be monumental for them. If Sam Pittman can come in his second season and beat Texas A&M, oof, that would not be good. Not be good at all. I think Texas A&M has the potential to win by double digits, but Pittman and Arkansas right now, they're riding high. Auburn's playing Georgia State. Just Auburn will chalk up another win. They got like 2 60-point performances against FCS teams. Georgia State will be a little bit more of a tougher challenge, but they'll roll. Southern Miss and Alabama. Coach Saban will probably tell us that Southern Miss is the greatest team of all time, and then snicker and snarl at us when, we don't believe that they should be. We'll go from there. Tennessee versus Florida. Look, I don't think Tennessee is very good, but I do think that Florida is running around right now thinking, we hung with Alabama. We're pretty good. I don't think Tennessee can beat them because I don't think they have enough talent right now to beat them. But this is like that one spot that could really, really bite them in the butt. So the big thing with the Vols, they rolled all over Tennessee Tech. But can they run the ball? And they've yet to surrender 3 yards a carry in a game this year, and they rank 8th in America in run defense. What was Florida doing? What was Florida doing this weekend against Alabama? They were running the ball a little bit. I'm not saying that Tennessee's going to be able to stop them. Don't call me at 803-978-1832. I'm just saying when you have your head stuck up there a little bit and you think you can hang with Alabama, a team like Tennessee that Josh Heupel may have as a hungry team right now, you think they don't want to come in there and they've got their heart on their sleeve thinking, you know what? Let's slap the hell out of these people down here in the swamp. Just saying. That's possible. Emotion is something you can't really gather, to be completely honest. You don't know how a team is emotionally going into any game. And I'm just throwing out things that that I see that might be interesting. We shall see on that. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. And one thing about the Kentucky and South Carolina game. The Wildcats had trouble with UT Chattanooga. And I just, when you stop and think about it, we've heard Kentucky teams, especially in my Twitter feed, say, hey, you know, there's a chance they could go 10-2. There's a chance they can go 11-1. The big thing with this, though, is that if they play like they did against UT Chattanooga, South Carolina can pop them in the mouth. It's going to be an electric atmosphere down there at Williams-Brice Stadium. First conference game at home under Shane Beamer. I think that South Carolina might come in thinking they're a little bit better because of the way they played at Georgia. And I know people are like, covering the spread and things like that. No, but they scored a touchdown on that Georgia defense. Not a lot of teams are going to do that. Team from the upstate didn't do it. They got more talent than South Carolina does on paper. They couldn't score on them. South Carolina did. Now I can understand that, hey, maybe that wasn't the first string guy, whatever. An offensive touchdown was scored on that great Georgia defense, and it was done by South Carolina. They're the only team in the country to do it. So maybe South Carolina sticks their chest out a little bit and says, you know what? Yes, Kentucky's won 6 out of the last 7 of these things. But Kentucky used to be like Vanderbilt on the schedule for South Carolina. Regardless of how crummy South Carolina was, they were beating Kentucky. I mean, seriously. Before this little 6 out of 7 streak, South Carolina led the series like 17-8, something like that. I mean, they won the majority of the games, and it really was like having Vanderbilt on the schedule. Tim Frisbee, who was a wide receiver for the Gamecocks, you mentioned Kentucky to him, and he gets angry because he was like, man, they couldn't compete with us. But Kentucky has won 6 out of the last 7 against South Carolina. A lot of that's got to do with the fact that they got a better head coach. Comparing Stoops to Muschamp is just light years. But maybe South Carolina with Shane Beamer and the things that they're doing, maybe they can pop Kentucky in the mouth this weekend. But if Kentucky plays like they did against UT Chattanooga, that's it. All right. Megan says that they scored on the UGA scout team. Were they wearing a Georgia logo, sir? Just saying. Were they wearing a Georgia logo? By the way, South Carolina also ended up +1 against Georgia in the turnover margin. The South Carolina defense has produced a lot of turnovers. They've had pick sixes in the first 2 games and then got, turned Georgia over 3 times. There aren't going to be a lot of people that do that either. Just saying. All right. Tomorrow on the rundown, Ethan DeWitt joins us from A Sea of Blue. Up next is Lawton Swan from Clemson Sports Talk.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
He is the czar of Clemson Sports. Be sure to follow him on Twitter at Clemson Sports. I'm on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. We'll see you tomorrow on the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all, man. I'm going to check with Jackpot and see if he has that video because lots of people want to see it. All right. See you guys later on.